How to learn things so fast it feels illegal.
If you're watching this, you've probably spent hours
Grinding through hundreds of YouTube videos, a course, or
a book, only to forget 90% of it a week later.
and you probably thought, am I just not a math person?
Or is my brain just wired differently? The answer is actually going to make you a little angry. You weren't born slow. You were taught to be inefficient. Today, that cycle stops. There's an entire field of neurobiology and cognitive psychology that maps exactly how your brain encodes data.
The problem, though, is that the US school system,
From elementary to the SATs, completely ignored it. Instead, they pushed fluency illusions.
rereading chapters, highlighting text, making linear, boring notes.
These make you feel productive, but they're junk food for the brain. They don't build long-term synaptic strength. They're a waste of your most precious resource, time. So let's kill the biggest myth in modern education first.
Learning styles.
You've heard it. I'm a visual learner. I need to hear it.
Or I'm kinesthetic. It's called the VAK theory. And here's the cold truth. There is zero solid scientific evidence
That teaching someone in their preferred style improves retention. It's an educational urban legend that's cost billions in wasted curriculum.
while you're busy trying to find your style.
There are actual cheat codes used by CEOs and top-tier engineers that multiply your learning speed. I'm talking about techniques so effective they feel like you're hacking your own IQ. I'm going to show you how your brain actually saves files and why your current habits are deleting them. Then, I'm giving you the big three: retrieval practice, the 80-20 of memory; mind mapping, the spatial architecture that builds deep understanding;
And interleaving, how to master complex skills by scrambling your brain. By the end, you won't just have a tip.
You'll have the owner's manual for your mind. So let's start with the hardware.
Working memory versus long-term storage.
Your brain isn't a GoPro recording everything,
It's more like a computer with very little RAM, working memory.
and a massive hard drive, long-term memory. Check out this, the RAM problem. Your working memory can only hold about 4 chunks of info at once. Then there's the illusion of fluency.
When you reread a page, it stays in your RAM.
It feels easy because it's right there.
But the second you close the book, the RAM clears.
If you haven't moved it to the hard drive, it's gone.
And finally, chunking. This is how experts win.
A pro coder doesn't see brackets and semicolons. They see a function. They've compressed data to save RAM. You don't learn more. You chunk better by creating mental maps. Let's get to the second part. Retrieval practice, the workout. Most people study by input, reading.
But real learning happens during output, testing.
Imagine this study. One group reads a text 4 times.
Another reads it once and then tries to write down everything they remember. A week later, the testing group crushes the reading group. Why it feels illegal. Retrieval is uncomfortable.
It feels like you're failing because you're struggling to remember. But that struggle is the signal to your brain that this info is important. Save it. Passive reading is like watching someone else do push-ups.
And wondering why your chest isn't growing.
Now the fun stuff, mind mapping, the spatial architecture. Linear notes are a trap. Your brain doesn't think in straight lines or bullet points. It thinks in networks. The brain is like a GPS.
When you create a mind map, you're mirroring the way neurons actually fire, radiating out from a central idea.
By using colors, branches, and spatial distance, you're engaging the brain's hippocampal spatial mapping. There's one term you absolutely should know.
Deep encoding. Instead of a list of facts, you're building a mental palace.
You see how a marketing strategy connects to a budget, which connects to a demographic. You aren't just memorizing, you're understanding the architecture underneath it. A single mind map can replace 20 pages of notes. Looking at it for 60 seconds triggers associative memory, bringing back the entire topic instantly.
It's like having optic fiber for your brain. And there's a simple way to put it in practice right now.
First, stop doing blocked practice. Don't do 50 algebra problems, then 50 geometry problems. You should mix it up. Do 1 algebra, 1 geometry, 1 trig. The benefit is this. In the real world, or a job interview, no one tells you this is a chapter 4 problem.
You have to figure out which tool to use. Interleaving trains your brain to discriminate between concepts.
It's frustrating as hell, but it builds adaptive mastery.
The 30-day illegal system. First, stop consuming, start producing.
Every 10 minutes of reading, spend 2 minutes summarizing from memory. No peeking. Second, map the landscape. After every study session, draw a 1-page mind map. Don't worry about art, worry about connections.
How does X relate to Y?
And third, the scramble.
If you're learning to code or play guitar,
Don't just practice one thing for an hour.
switch between 3 different sub-skills every 15 minutes.
The reason most people stay average at skills
Is because they choose the path of least resistance, rereading.
If your study session feels easy, you're probably not learning. If it feels like your brain is sweating, you're leveling up. Now, I want you to pick one skill you've been meaning to learn. Python, Spanish, stock analysis, and draw your first high-level mind map for it today. See you on the next video, and don't forget to subscribe and hit that like button. Peace.